Hello class! Today, we are going to dive into something very important for every teacher. How to choose the right assessment tools for our students. This may sound technical, but by the end of this lesson, you will see how this directly affects your learning, experience, and success in school. First, we will examine different assessment tools and decide which ones are appropriate for the classroom. Second, we will review the kinds of assessments that our teachers often use and talk about whether they actually work in the 21st century. And finally, we will decide what kind of measurement methods are best depending on the purpose of the assessment. So, why does this matter? You know what? Assessments are not just about giving grades. They are tools that help us figure out how well we have understood the lesson. So it's not just about what we assess, but how we assess it. Think about this. Not all students learn in the same way, right? Some of you like visuals, others learn by doing, and some prefer to read and write. That's why, as teachers, we have to choose tools that give students a fair chance to show what they know. The way we assess should reflect the different ways our students learn and express their understanding. Alright class, let's continue our lesson on assessment tools. This time, focusing on how teachers choose and use them effectively. One of the biggest challenges that beginning teachers face is figuring out how to pick the right kind of assessment that actually fits the needs of their students. It's not just about giving a quiz or test at the end of the lesson. During teaching, we constantly need to keep track of not only what we are teaching, but also how well you are understanding it, and even how motivated you are. This helps us decide if we need to change something in the lesson plan to help you learn better. This kind of constant adjustments take practice. According to researchers like A. Russian and Borko and Livingstone, experienced teachers are more used to this because it involves some pretty complex thinking, balancing your needs as learners while also staying focused on the goals of the lesson. Now, let's talk about the types of assessments teachers use during class. Most often, we use informal strategies like observation. We watch how you work and interact. Questioning, how or we ask you questions to check understanding in real time. But assessments can be more formal too. There are two broad categories, which is the direct and the indirect methods. Examples of direct methods are as follows: tests and quizzes, essays and reports, oral presentations, performances or practical tasks, internship and evaluations from our supervisors, portfolios, pre-test and post-test, capstone project or thesis. This show what you can actually do or produce. Meanwhile, the examples of indirect methods helps us to understand our experiences and progress from another angle. Examples of these are student surveys, alumni feedback, exit interviews before graduation, participation records, reflective essays, and you know what, this don't directly show what you know, but can support our understanding of your learning. Now, whether we are using traditional tools or ICT-based tools like digital platforms or online apps, we as teachers need to choose assessment methods carefully. Here are the key things we consider. Does it measure what we need to measure? Your performance, growth, and engagement. Is it cost-effective? We think about time, effort, and of course, the resources. Will it help us make better decisions? Like good assessments guide our teaching? Is it accurate and honest? Is it consistent over time, or can it be used continuously, not just once? After we finish a lesson, we usually conduct a formative assessment. This is not a final grade, but a way to give feedback and help you grow. The great thing about formative assessment is that it's based on evidence we collect from different methods. You get feedback and use it to set goals for your next steps. That's real learning. And guess what? ICT, or Information and Communications Technology, helps a lot with this. Using digital tools, teachers and students can give and receive feedback more easily. For example, we can assign online tasks that check how well you work together to solve problems. This can also assess collaborative skills and multiple areas of learning at once. So remember, assessment isn't just a test, it's a tool for learning, for both you and your teacher. Alright class, here's a quick summary of what we learned about rubrics. A rubric is a scoring guide used to assess assignments, projects, presentations, or performances. It clearly outlines the criteria and expectation for a task. Rubrics help both teachers and students understand what quality work looks like. So we have two types of rubrics. The first one is the analytic rubrics. It breaks the work into parts and scores each part separately. This includes content, organization, and delivery. The second one is the holistic rubric. It gives one overall score based on the entire performance or product. Rubrics are not used for multiple choice or short answer tasks. They are best for open-ended tasks like writing, projects, and presentation. When creating a rubric, teachers must consider this. First, students' needs, lessons' objectives, local context, relevance to the task. Yes, rubrics are useful for giving clear, fair feedback and guiding students in improving their work. Alright class, today, let us continue on how we can use technology to assess our learning. You know what? Technology has really changed the way we evaluate our students. One of the main tools we now use is called computer-based assessment, or e-exams. This means that instead of using paper tests, you take exam using a computer or other digital device. Your answers are submitted electronically, and in many cases, you get your scores right away, just minutes after submitting. Originally, e-exams were created over 40 years ago for IT certification tests, but now they are widely used in schools, universities, and even job recruitment. So why are computer-based tests useful? They are more efficient and can be personalized for each student. Automatic grading gives you quick feedback. And of course, you can take tests more often whenever you are ready. Teachers can easily analyze class performance using the data. Now, that doesn't mean we only use computers for testing. As teachers, we still need to keep a balance, using both traditional methods like writing project or presentation and digital assessments. Why? It is because too much focus on multiple choice or simple response tests can lead to surface level learning, which is just more on memorizing and not on understanding. The goal is to use technology to support deeper learning. Computers aren't just for fast quizzes. They can be used for creative, meaningful assessments, such as interactive tasks, digital portfolio, and online discussions. So remember, technology in assessment isn't about replacing everything we have done before. It's about enhancing the way we learn and show what we know. Let's give an example of an electronic portfolio. So first, an electronic portfolio is also known as e-portfolio or an online portfolio. It is, first, a collection of electronic evidence assembled and managed by a user, usually on the web. Portfolio includes input text, electronic files, images, multimedia, blog entries, and hyperlinks. Portfolios are both demonstrations of the user's abilities and platforms for self-expression. So what are the types of e-portfolios? One is the ideal portfolio. It contains all works of student. The second one is the showcase portfolio. These e-portfolios are primary and a way to demonstrate the highlights of a student's academic career. The third one, documentation portfolio. It involves a collection of work over time showing a growth and improvement reflecting student learning of identified outcomes. The fourth one is the learning e-portfolios. These portfolios are typically created by a student as part of a learning activity as a way to demonstrate learning and the learning process. These portfolios are often shared with other students to elicit peer feedback.